Okay, let's begin talking about your final speech. This is the group persuasive presentation. And as the instructions indicate, it is a group project. So this will further enhance your communication skill set as we go into the last speech. You'll notice that this fulfills our state requirement of a minimum of 4 to 8 minute speeches because your first speech was a 2 to 4 minute speech, which also fulfill the state requirements. The learning outcomes are the same, except you'll note that we're focusing on persuasive this time. And so I've broken up your instruction steps and divided them into week requirements so that you can get an idea of what is expected and the pacing for completing this speech process. So for week 9, that's the first week that we'll start this unit. You will be working on getting organized into groups and brainstorming the topic for persuasion and constructing a working proposition. And then week 10 will be testing your topics for persuasion capability, because if your audience already agrees with you, then no persuasion will be possible. So we'll be conducting situational audience analysis to confirm your topic selection. Week 11, we will be developing a working outline, and we'll use this working outline as we research and find evidence. So you'll note that for this presentation, you'll need 5 sources. For the informative, you only needed 3, but this is also a group project, so 5 should not be very difficult. And 2 of your sources will need to be peer-reviewed instead of just 1. Then, after you submit your works cited page during week 11, we'll move on to week 12, where we go back to that working outline and we enhance it and add that evidence into the outline and work for a keyword outline structure. Now, please note that you do not have to narrow down your evidence into keywords, because we want to make sure that we treat that evidence with accuracy, and ethically we may not be able to reduce it down and maintain the original source intention. So you won't have to do that. You do need to work on making sure that you attribute those sources, and you also will need to add verbal transitions. Then you'll submit your outline to me so that I can approve it. And then you can move on into weeks 13 and 14. So as a group, you'll begin working on your visual aid. For this speech, it's a slide presentation. And that flows very nicely into the format, since you will be working in groups, and since this will be visually, it will be video recorded. So a slide presentation is a nice format for the visual for this persuasive speech. And we'll talk more about the guidelines, but you'll note that your textbook pages 258 to 260 has some great tips. And then there's also a formula to tell you exactly how many slides that you need for this speech. And then after your slides are approved, your outline's been approved, your works cited page has been approved, then your group is ready to move on to the final step, which is actually just rehearsing and recording this presentation. Now, your group has several options for the recording. You can elect to host a Google meeting or a Zoom meeting together, where the group members are all present and you take turns presenting each portion of the speech and recording that meeting so that you can upload it for other people in the class to watch later. You can also just have each group member individually on their own time schedule rehearse and record their portion of the speech, and then submit all those videos to one group member who combines them into one final format. That's another option. The third option is probably not going to be selected, but it is an option. You can opt to meet together on campus in person and then record the speech together as a group. Let me know if you want that option so that I can arrange a meeting place for you. Finally, you'll notice some recording tips, and you'll also see persuasive speech outlines listed below.